This is my other Tamiya TA02. I wanted to make this video to kind of demonstrate the versatility of the TA02 chassis. So you may have seen my other videos on this type of chassis. I originally made one with it in truck form, and then I'm converting that to a top force buggy chassis, so you can go watch those videos. The TA02 was originally designed as a sedan chassis, as a carryover from the TA01. And I found on eBay someone was selling two TA02 chassis, one of which had the original FRP chassis set for the TA02. These are extremely difficult to find. Occasionally you may see the actual chassis sets pop up on eBay for around $300. So that I was able to auction two chassis, one of which had this FRP chassis alone, which was worth more than the rest of the stuff, for around $125 is a really good deal. So I figured I'd pick it up and sort of refurbish the chassis, put it together, and sort of make something else for my wife, because I gave her a DB01, and I want to give her an on-road chassis that she can also have some fun with. So the body that I'm going to use for this is the HPI McLaren F1 LM. I'm a huge McLaren fan. I love everything they do. I'm going to paint the body metallic red and, do all the detailing and everything. And that's this right here. This is a 200mm body, and the TA02 typically accepts 190mm bodies. So the way you can get around that is by getting rims with an offset. So these are HPI rims with a +6mm offset, and they make this particular pattern in bronze, which you see here. They also do black and chrome, I believe. So I just got the bronze ones. What else did I do? I got the Yeah Racing Center Driveshaft, just like what you might see in the DB01. It has the rear anti-roll bar. I carried over the HPI carbon fiber shock towers that used to be on the other TA02. I just threw them in here. I have some Yeah Racing shocks. When you get the shocks, it comes with silver springs, blue springs, and gold springs, depending on the tension you want. The silvers are the softest, the blue springs are the next stiffest, and the gold springs are the stiffest. So I got silver on the front, blue in the back, and 40 weight Trinity shock oil front and rear. The two chassis that I got, one of them was a normal TA02. The other one was it was like a special edition TA02 that Tamiya used to make that had lighter weight suspension arms. So they had, cutouts in the suspension arms, and the hinge pins used E-clips to mount the C-hubs in the front and the rear hub carriers. So this is really like a hybrid chassis here, combination between whatever parts that I could use from that racing special chassis and the conventional TA02. Also got some universal drive shafts in the front. I think these are GPM drive shafts, and I have to get some universals for the rear. Those are actually a little harder to find than the front for some reason. What else did I do here? Got the these, I forget who made these, maybe GPM front steering knuckles. I'm using these stock plastic C-hub carriers. If you look at the other videos I talk about, I had a set of purple aluminum C-hubs that I could not use on my TA02 conversion to a top force chassis because they just didn't fit quite right. I tried putting them on this thinking they would work well just as for a normal sedan application. The problem was that if you look here, this front camber link wouldn't fit quite right with the C-hub carrier, because the hole that you would have to mount the ball stud on in that C-hub carrier didn't leave enough space to actually screw the ball stud in. So I would actually have had to mount the ball stud on the other side. And if I did that, I'd have to either push this camber link way out this way, or if I flipped it around, I'd have to pull it way back this way. And either way, you would get a lot of bind in the suspension travel. So I figured, screw it, just put those things away use the stock C-hubs and it'll work just fine, no problem. Let's see. The steering Bellcrank units that come with the original FRP chassis are plastic units. They're not aluminum, but they're pretty decent. They're pretty solid. The steering itself originally comes with bushings. I believe I have ball bearings in there. Yes, I put some ball bearings in these to make it a little smoother. The only thing is this chassis is missing the battery mount post on this side, so I may have to do some funky business here to close this off and hold the battery pack in. Still have to mount the electronics and everything, but I think that's pretty much it. I had to do some Frankenstein stuff to mount the shocks, because the Yeah Racing shocks, they're actually pretty nice, and they come with different shock mount pieces, but I had to use screws of a different length to get everything to fit. I got Phillips screws and hex head screws all over this thing, so it's by no means a uniform build. But I just wanted to make something that I felt was more solid than a DB01 for my wife, because the DB01 is actually a little bit fragile in some places, and the TA02, I mean, I've had a TA02 since I was, oh geez, like 14 years old, very long time ago, and I'm very familiar working on this thing. It's actually very easy to work on. So very nice chassis to get as a first chassis for somebody who is new to RC. It still has some good tunability to it. You can change shock tower positions, you can change camber, you can change tone, of course, in the front. So all the basics are there if they want to learn about how to set up a car. This, I have ball diffs front and rear. One thing that I will fault the TA02 for is that the ball diffs that came with it at the time are actually kind of tight. They don't have the nice smooth feel that you would expect to get in a modern, like say an Associated RC10, for example. Those are nice smooth ball diffs. These are not that smooth. So whatever, good beginner's chassis. Figured I'd at least show you the status of it as it presently exists when I complete it, and certainly when I get the nice McLaren body all painted up, I will make another video.